guys, and I'm your host, Brenda McGee. Today I have a guest who's been here a few times, Steve McLaughlin. Thanks for being here, bud.
Thank you.
As most of you know, Steve is one of the main people on our paranormal team, SNE Paranormal Team. Steve, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you like to do on the team.
I like the work with the equipment, the tech. We also do the blessings. I'm a demonologist. Went to the seminary after the Marine Corps, so I'm basically a warrior at heart.
Awesome. So tonight we always do this. I like to, this is the time of year. It's Halloween, the month of October. So we know that a lot of people do. I almost said this is stupid, but I didn't. Crazy things. So we just wanted to do a show on, people need to really know that one of our main, investigations are Ouija boards.
Yes, Ouija boards. How many times have we done a blessing on a place and a Ouija board was causing it all?
Yeah, that's what I tell a lot of people, and also they think that it's just a toy because it's, sold in toy stores. Mm. So they think that if, they buy it at a toy store, then it's just a game, but we know better than that, don't we?
Yes, it opens up a door that if you can't close it, it can ruin your life.
Right. And, Steve, when what people have asked me, why would a game be dangerous?
Because they market it as a game because it's sales. They make money off of it.
Right.
But we know that that's more than a game. It's a doorway to the other side.
Right.
And when you're using the planchette, your fingers are on the planchette, the entity is using your body to move the planchette, so it's opening you physically to the spirit.
And plus you're summoning.
Yes.
Because you're asking the spirits to come through on the board and things like that. I always tell people they'll start off with manipulation because they'll tell you something that they know about you, and most negative energies, demonic, whatever you want to call them. I know people get nervous with the word demonic, but lower energies.
Yes.
Once you do that summoning part, they'll portray themselves as a family member.
Yes.
And then get you to trust them.
Yes, and they were angels, so they have a very high intelligence, more than ours. So they can see how you react to things. They can clue on your family, people you've known, so they can get a lot of information. They share information too. As a unit, you might have a demon that was in one place. They can share you information from another place, so they know what they're doing.
So when you just said about, so they're fallen angels.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to specify that because I think people will think, well, he just said angels.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that they understood what you were talking about.
Well, they were created to control the environment, to control the universe. So they have a lot of power they can use.
Have you noticed, Steve, that things have gotten worse?
Yes, a lot worse. It's amazing. It's people just open to the Ouija, the occult, and just doing it haphazardly, just trying to have fun with it, and it's not fun. It can be really dangerous.
And right now, with everything that's going on in the world, there's so much negativity and arguing and hate and things like that. It's terrible. So even the energy feels off. I mean, sometimes I'm like, I need to move somewhere else.
Where could you go?
Exactly. Where can you go where there's none of this negativity and things like that? We were discussing earlier, we were telling about EVP recorders.
Yes.
Which that's one of our main equipment that we use on our investigations, but people have been using it regularly, especially around Halloween time.
Yes.
It's like I know Halloween is a fun holiday and things like that, but it's when people lose their mind a little bit and they get the EVP recorders, they go into cemeteries, and people will say, well, why can a paranormal team use it? Why can't we use it also? It's because if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to open and you don't know how to close,
I was going to say that, yeah.
Then you're opening and keeping it open, and then again, you're causing issues that can, follow you. You're summoning, you're asking spirit to speak to you, and then you're listening to it, so you're opening up to it even more.
Yes. And we always do prayers of guidance so that the person we're talking to, we know who we're talking to.
Right.
So we can tell if it's a demonic, we can tell if it's a human spirit, we can help to cross it over. So we have a purpose for being there.
Right.
I never do it at home.
No, I mean, we don't want.
No.
I don't do it at home either. We just do it at the investigation,
Yes.
and that is just for evidence for the homeowner.
Yes.
So we can give them evidence of what we're getting and things like that, and know sometimes how to handle the case.
Yes. That's the big point. We know how to handle the case, what we're dealing with.
Well,
we're not going to leave them stranded there with a being.
No, and that's what I tell a lot of people. There's different paranormal teams. I mean, our team, we have two separate teams. We're all one, but we have two separate.
Yes.
One is our main team in investigations, and then we have the core team that's our blessing team.
Yes.
And what we mean by blessing team is we deal with the negative and demonic and exorcisms and things like that. And that's where you come in.
Yeah, it's.
Well, we come in as a team,
Yes.
but you're mainly
I couldn't do it without you guys.
right.
But usually I'm told what demon's present,
Right.
and then when I address it, that's when things happen.
And I love the way that our team is connected, because a lot of times I'll have a dream or a vision. I'll call it a vision because
Yeah.
that's what it is. And then you'll have it, and then Tom will have it.
Yes.
And then we'll know a case is coming up. Or I'll be attacked, you'll be attacked,
Yes.
and Tom will be attacked.
We're all on the same page.
And we're all on the same page. And it's just, I don't think there's a lot of people out there that have a team like that. Because people have asked, do you just take anybody on the team? And I'm like, no.
No, it's.
Because there's a connection between us that I know I don't have to worry.
Yes. And when once you encounter a demon, it's like there's a veil and you're protected. Once you go through that veil and onto the game board, you're free game now.
Right.
And they will not forget.
And we took a spiritual warfare class with a Catholic priest who gave us, all of the prayers and things like that. You've already had access to it because you have access to all of that. But I think it was great that team members, we took the spiritual warfare class, and like people think, oh, by a Catholic priest. Absolutely. You want to have someone who knows what
Yes.
they're doing. And he's very well known for what he does.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he is.
Father Bob Bailey. I mean,
Yes.
he's an amazing person, has been through so much. But to, be able to teach us what we need to know and make us even stronger, I can't thank him and Rob enough
No,
for
they're
that.
awesome people.
Yeah, so a lot of times lately, we haven't even had to go into homes. We've been doing it remotely.
Yes.
Which, when I tell people remotely, it means that we don't have to physically be
there,
there.
yes.
We can do behind the scenes with the prayers, and it's worked.
It's worked, and we still get reactions demonically when we do that.
Yeah,
Because-
repercussions.
Yeah, there's no time or space for prayer, so they react directly to it.
And people think there's no repercussions, that it's all fun and games. I always tell them, no, it's not fun and games. And they say, well, why would you do it, Steve? Why would you do it if you knew that you were going to have repercussions for it?
I do it because we're helping people. And
But also, we were chosen to do this.
Yes, thank you.
That's
Yes, we were called to do it. If you're not called to do it, you're not protected. We have a higher power that protects us. They go on it goes with us on all the investigations, the blessings, and it protects us and guides us. Without that, we couldn't do it.
Right. And what people don't realize, too, is all the cases that we've had, we still continue to pray for all of those people. It's
yes,
a nonstop
constantly,
thing.
yes.
It's a nonstop thing. As long as they don't reverse what we've done.
That's a good point,
Yeah.
because you can do that, and it will come back worse.
And I think out of all of the cases we've had, we've only had, two. Two cases where they totally reversed what we did, and it came back with a vengeance, but there was nothing. They had to do it on their own, which they finally did. They learned it, but that was crazy. But then people don't realize, because they've reversed it, now we get attacked for like 3 to 5 days.
Yes.
Straight.
Yeah, definitely. And it's
Physically, psychically, and mentally.
family, job, wherever you are.
Everything.
I've almost been killed a few times.
I know.
Tried.
I think we both have.
Yeah.
We both know
It's
there's
serious.
a case. Yeah.
It's very serious. They're very angry beings. They want to cause pain and suffering. They want to ruin your life. If you let them in, they will hang on because you let them in.
Right. The difference between our team also is we don't charge.
No charge. No.
We're free of charge, so we can help anybody who needs help. and we don't mind, that's what we're here to do, is to help people. But the difference is with us also is we help spirits to cross over.
Yes, there's prayers I use for that too.
Yeah, and we tell people not to, not to leave their homes, because they don't have to. It can be taken care of.
Yes, there's no reason to leave the home. Because what we do, we cover the home, the outside of the home. It's pretty clear when we leave.
Absolutely. What can you honestly say one of our cases where you were kind of unnerved by it, like really wasn't, I don't know, did I put you on the spot?
No, that was, the most unnerving was that little boy. That was kind of unnerving. Because the mom used the Ouija board when she was pregnant. He didn't get any church affiliation, and he was getting attacked.
He was born with an attachment.
Yes.
Yeah, that was an intense case. That poor little thing. He's better now, knock on wood. We fixed all of that and stuff like that. But
there was one case we did where I usually wear a rosary when I do this, and I let the family borrow the rosary. Well, then they gave it back to me. When I left, my rosary was gone.
I know that.
Remember that?
Well, that was unnerving too,
Yes.
and that was across the street from the Taunton State Hospital.
Exactly. And
we were
intense.
doing that blessing, and we heard things on top of the roof.
We could feel the heat from the demon behind us.
I think that was probably the most demonic.
Yeah, that was pretty
one
intense.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I just remembered that popped into my head.
Yeah, that was.
I was like, holy mackerel! Yeah, that was quite the night. Even we'd look outside and the swings were swinging by themselves, and but we had gotten it out, but it was on the roof. Oh, it was not happy at all.
So I lost my rosary, but I got it back. I checked my bag 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
A week later, it was back in my bag.
It came back to you.
Yeah.
I think we've had some amazing cases. I was just looking on memories, and I think it was a few years ago we were at the Houghton Mansion.
Oh yes.
That's when one of our Christine was with you, and she actually got really unnerved with that one.
She had to leave.
Yeah, she had to go outside and take a breather and then come back in. And that was a crazy investigation, but that was on our bucket list.
Yeah,
that was the coolest too, that we actually got to stay the night. And
you got to see some things that you weren't supposed to see too.
I think so. Yeah, we got some really crazy things, but we've had quite a few cases.
And my buddy.
Yeah, that thing that was attached on your back.
Yeah, it was attached to my back.
Yeah, that was crazy. But getting back to Halloween and things like that, what would you say? I know what I've been told, but a lot of people asked me the other night when we were doing ghost stories in the cemetery in Rehoboth. They asked, how do you get rid of a Ouija board?
Okay, what we do is I will bless it with holy water, and I will pray that the demon be bound, and have St. Michael bring it to Jesus, to a higher power. And then you have to break the board and bury it. Okay. The ground is solid. It's sacred ground. It's created by the higher power. So when you put it into the ground, it's controlled. But it can't be the same. It can't look like what it did before. It has to be a separate thing.
Right. That's what I told him. You have to dismember it, because some people don't know the prayers and things like that.
Don't burn it.
That's what the first thing was. Well, I burnt it. I said, well, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, because then you can't close the door.
Right. And remember, one of our cases was just one piece of furniture.
Yes.
Remember that house we had to do where the attachment and the entity was attached to that, but it was in the home, but it attached, that's how it got in the home.
Through the table.
And we had to break it all into pieces, bless it, and throw it away.
Whenever I buy something, I bless it before I bring it to my house.
I always tell people that. That's the first question I ask them. Is there anything new that you brought in from Savers or a consignment shop or anything like that? I said, you need to clear all of that, because if you bring that piece of furniture and there's an attachment to it, you're going to bring it into your home.
Yeah.
Anything. Even dolls from out of the country. Remember, we had to bless a doll?
Yes, yep.
And then we had another case Derek and I handled, which was a doll that was, somebody had put a curse on the doll, sent it to the person.
Anything you're going to use, they'll attach to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't make this stuff up, Steve, can you?
No, it's really serious. When they go out and they want to do an investigation and they get involved, once you have an idea that there's a demon involved, you should stop.
Right.
Once you leave, they can't follow you. You close properly, say, don't follow me, you have to stay here.
Right.
If you stay there, you've invited it in.
Yeah. And I tell people, that's the different with us. We start with prayer, we end with prayer. Mm-hmm. People go out and they do it. Even when I did those stories, the last thing that I said to, because what we did was, we had different groups and they came and we would tell, stories of investigations, and it was in the cemetery. And I would say, now everybody, before you leave, make sure you say, you have to stay here, you're not allowed to follow.
Yes.
And at first they thought I was joking, and I'm like, no, I'm not serious. And they were like, oh, okay. So then they're repeating it. So I said, we'll do it like a song. You have to stay here, you're not allowed to follow. That's how my daughter remembers it. She says it all the time, just like, that's how I remember it.
But it works. You're putting a restriction on what they can do.
Right. Because people will say, well, why are cemeteries haunted? I say to them, because you don't know what was on the land before that.
Yeah.
There could be violence or whatever. I said, and a lot of times it's just it playing over and over again, like a footprint.
Yeah, and then the body is...
But then I tell them also, when you go there to visit your loved ones, they're not there. They're coming to visit you at the cemetery.
Yes.
So it's not like they're there.
Exactly,
It's just their shell of the body, their spirit, has gone. But they come to the cemetery because you come to the cemetery.
Yes, and if you have a body that was buried that they weren't a great person, they could have an attachment to that body.
Yeah.
And then you're opening a door for demonic entry also.
Right. So I always tell people, just be careful at this time of year. Not only that, the veil is very thin.
Now it is.
Yeah, it's been since the end of September, and then at the beginning of October, it's really, really thin. So a lot of people are experiencing a lot more. I tell a lot of them there are a lot of family members who visit also. Mm-hmm. So I said it's not necessarily negative or anything like that, but it's just, I tell people, just don't do it as a game. Take it very seriously.
What's a way to tell if there's a demon present? I know a human spirit, they can't do a whole lot. They need energy to do something.
Right.
Like they can flick lights, they can open a door slowly. If furniture's moving, a door slams, or you feel uncomfortable, that's a sign.
Right, that it's not a good energy.
Yes, because that's when I go, when I feel uncomfortable, I know there's a demon present.
Right. That, and a lot of times I get sick to my stomach.
Yes, sick, headache.
Yes, it's almost like there's something there, but it makes you not feel good. Sometimes when it's a really higher level, it's almost like you feel like you're on fire.
Yes.
Heat.
Oh, my heart will palpitate.
Heat, yeah. So there is a difference where people can tell,
Yes.
if it's negative, or I always tell people, see how it makes you feel. Or if you're having nightmares all of a sudden, then you might want to retrace where you were, what had happened, and, don't be afraid to reach out, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah, and we can help them from where we are. We
Yeah,
don't have to go and visit
remotely.
them. We can talk to them on the phone. We can get it done.
Right, and see what's going on.
It's-
Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy, especially this time of year. People are
And
just
Halloween.
opening themselves up, and then, the actual Halloween,
The energy level increases.
it's like triple
Yeah.
the energy. It just gets so intense. But it's funny because I see spirit anyway, but now it's like I'll be driving and I can't tell if it's a human on the road or whatever, unless it's in like old-timey clothing or something like that, and you'll drive by and they're not there anymore. But I know a lot of people have been saying the same thing, like feeling things, experiencing things. Everything's heightened.
Now, I can see demons, but I don't actually see normal people.
Well, now, what would you suggest to people if they're experiencing negative, or even just experiencing something that's making them a little bit uneasy?
Then they have to get rid of it. Either call us up, we can
Yeah.
get rid of it. We have prayers they can use. You can go online to get websites for prayers of deliverance.